Yo, yo, yo. What's up, RotoBaller team? Joe Idone here at Tour Picks on Twitter for another edition of Launching Longshots, your weekly stop for PGA Tour Longshots betting. We're going to send some out into the universe. Hopefully, they land in the craters or the rocks out there at TPC Summerlin in Las Vegas. Thank you for the RotoBaller team for always supporting this content. Make sure you follow them on Twitter at RotoBaller PGA. This video will be on their YouTube channel. Subscribe to that channel. Give a thumbs up and drop me a comment for your favorite long shot to win the Shriners Children's Open for the year 2024. Let's get into the picks. Let's not waste any more time. I'm going to start the card off this week at 65 to 1. Okay. The two main stats that I have most heavily weighted in my stat model this week are driving accuracy. Here's the thing. Now, this is a desert course, much like what we saw last week in Utah, but the landing areas are significantly tighter than what we saw out there at the Black Desert Championship. You had 60-yard wide resort-style fairways out there. This ain't that. You've got 25 yards of fairway, and they're mostly important because not only do you guarantee that you're not playing out of the desert, you also have access to many of the pin locations and like the little funnels on the greens you're only able to access from being in the fairways. Driving accuracy much more important this week than it was last week when I did this video. The other thing, as I know from playing this course, it is extremely difficult around the greens. The greens many times have this upside down bowl effect where there are these severe runoffs right off the greens, and the tight new Bermuda grass that was just installed on all the fairways and collars last year, it's only about a year and a half old, make for these grainy, difficult lies to judge on slopey, fast greens, making it one of the more difficult courses to get up and down on the PGA Tour. Now, that leads me to pick number one at 65 to 1. When I ran a blended model of just those two stats, he's the number one player in the field this week. I'm talking about last week's first round leader, Adam Svensson. 65 to 1 on Svensson. Let me bring up his player profile page here, and you'll see what he did at the Black Desert Classic, gaining a ton on approach. You see how many starts in a row here, if you're with us on YouTube, that he has gained strokes around the green. Now, the unique thing about Svensson when you're betting long shots is this spike right here, and he is kind of known for that. So he's the type of player that is very hot and cold and streaky with the putter. He can lose 4.2 at the Sanderson Farms pretty easily. The start before that at the Wyndham gained 6.8. When you go back to his win a few years ago during the fall swing, you'll see these gains. PGA Championship, 6 strokes putting, 9 strokes putting at the RSM when he won in the fall a few years ago. It lets me know that he is capable of, when he holes a couple of putts early, to keep the speed, keep the confidence rolling. He is a highly accurate player. You see you're hitting 73% of fairways. Adam Svensson, pick number one. Okay. Number two, I got two guys on the rest of the card, both over 100 to 1. The first one, if you were with us on this video last week, he gave us a nice little sweat at 90 to 1. They have increased his price this week to 120 to 1. And I'm talking about going back to Henrik Norlander. I brought up his profile last week that showed you not only the amount and the magnitude of starts that he's making right now on the PGA Tour, also went over and played a few times with much success on the DP World Tour. He was the leader last week, much like Svensson, right behind him through like 36 holes almost at the Black Desert Championship, was right there, had another chance to win, kind of faltered on Sunday a little bit, but you see another really good approach week for Henrik Norlander that makes it 4 straight weeks gaining strokes on approach. Comes into this week with a hot putter, comes into this week off a top 10 finish. You get an increase on price on a guy that I thought gave us a nice chance for victory in a very similar field. Anytime you see that price bump after a good week, I'm more inclined to go back to a player like Norlander. And finally, this is just a good vibes bet at 125 to 1. But you want to talk about a guy that's absolutely flushing the ball with his irons right now? Look no further than everyone's favorite player on tour, Gary Woodland. 7.5 strokes gained on approach at the Sanderson, 3 at the Wyndham, 8.4 at the 3M Open. The guy is flushing it like the old days of Gary Woodland. Loves West Coast golf for a guy that makes his home down here in Florida. Obviously, won Pebble Beach in the U.S. Open, has played really well at TPC Scottsdale. Withdrew in 2022 at the Shriners as I pull this up, but we know some of the health issues that Gary Woodland was going through at that time. Give him a pass for that. T10 and T18 in his history at this event. Boy, would it be nice to see Gary Woodland back in contention on the PGA Tour. I think this is a great setup for him this week. If he can get a decent week putting, I think that he can find himself in that top 10 on Sunday. Those are your 3 launching long shot picks for this week. Thank you again. Make sure to follow at RotoBaller PGA on Twitter. My name is Joe Idone. At Tour Picks is the place you can find me. Full card out tomorrow on Wednesday, as always, 100% for free on my Twitter page. Thanks for checking this out once again, guys. Leave me your winner in the long shot range. Got to be at least 50-1 or higher in the comments of this YouTube video. Thanks again for checking it out. I'll catch you next week.